Alright, welcome back everyone. It's David, aka Fairmere4731, bringing you another Empire Total War 4v4 matchup on the Finland map. And I'm going to be playing once again as my beloved France. And my allies are going to be Prussia, Spain, and Russia. So don't really remember much about this one. Honestly, I recorded it sometime in October. I think it was October 21st. Not that the exact date matters, but there we are. Alright, so we're going to be playing against a British player. It looks like an American, a Prussian, and a United Province. So let's go ahead and speed it up and let's get this thing started. And of course, I'm on the side of Team 2. So let's go for it here. We got the British player is starting off, and they're bringing their lines forward, as well as down here we've got the Swedish player playing against us. And up at the top we've got a little bunching. The American player is way in the back, and we got the United Province player also at the top, so there's nobody in the center. And you can see me making my advance forward, and it looks like there is no artillery in this match that I can see. Nope. Okay. And let's see over here. We got a lot of confusion. Looks like both players in the top on our side and on the opposing side all want the hill. So we got all these Russians and all these Spain players, men going to that spot. Now it looks like the Russian is going to start diverting some of his troops to the center. And it looks like the same exact thing is happening on this side. So a lot of bottlenecking happening up here, and I am sending my cav up top, and we've got just a big massive mess going on. Okay, so let's fast forward a little bit, get some of the action going. You can see I'm making my way into the tree line. Okay, let's slow it down a bit. Alright. Yeah, it looks like maybe these lines look like maybe one player dropped already. So it's going to get a little crazy. Looks like it's the Spanish player that has already dropped. And it looks like the United Province player is about to start opening up with his lights. Yep, there we go. Took out one guy there. And yeah, so pretty bad shots because they're shooting through the tree. They took out one more. So all those volleys going through the tree line landed on 2 men. Okay, so we've got a massive amount of Swedish and United Province cav going to the center, met by the Russian cav and my cav. While meanwhile I look like I am pulling back because this is going to be a mess. So somebody's got to cover the center, especially with the Spanish player dropping already. This game is looking pretty grim, to say the least. So it looks like the Russian player is moving up his riflemen, start taking shots. They've dropped stakes already over there. I don't think they've dropped any yet. Okay. So let's go ahead and fast forward. This is becoming a big disaster battle. So you can see with Finland, one person dropping can change the whole course of a game, but especially when your players are not working together as a team when you set up. And that happened for both sides, it seemed. Okay. Looks like the British player is now moving into the tree line. Swedish player is coming behind. Don't know what to think about the Prussian player, what they're doing, but I'm moving to the top because this is quickly turning into a complete cluster, you know what. Alright, so over here, United Provinces has moved up a line. Start taking shots at the lights. Also got a militia in there. So looks like, unfortunately for the United Province player, he should be shooting at the Russian lights, but he is failing to do that. So now he's got some Simonovsky, or however you want to say it, foot guards coming up. So he's wisely going to pull out of that fight. He's not going to win that. Okay. My French troops are slowly making their way up, and I think we had another player drop. The Prussian player, I think, is also dropped. So this is going to, or quit, one of the two, and this is going to cause a meat shield for me. So the Swedish player is going to come in and lay down some fire upon the Prussian. Yep. Okay, yeah, their bodies hitting the floor here. Poor guys. Alright. So the British player making that move is really kind of good for me because they are going to wear themselves out as time pushes, as they try to make the push up the hill like I did, because you can see my guys are very tired from all the moving because I had to push up and then now push up the hill, or push forward and now push up the hill. So you can see my movements, and the hill is becoming a pretty bloody affair. And let's see here. So I think I'm gonna I would say that yeah, this is pretty bad. So here's all my cav, and I'm gonna wait for the Spain to provide me a meat shield so I can go after some of the guys over here. Okay. So it looks as though he is winning. The Russian player is winning, and I believe this is Luke. He is winning this flank pretty well. Guard is facing up against these this line now. The Simonovsky guard. Luke's going to pull out of that. Let's see here. And meanwhile, over here, the Prussian and the British player are in some nice combat here. The Swedish player is watching the mass of stupidity here of fighting melee with all the Prussian blob. Not a wise choice by the British player to, you know, not thrust their men around and shoot them, but we take our advantages. Okay, so I am going to be pushing my cav through, and you can see Luke has his cav here. So our goal is to push through this rifleman unit, as this alleyway has been created by the Spanish player so nicely. So first I'm going to punch through, and I'm trying to punch through them real quick so that Luke can hit them, and then we push through and push past this Minuteman. That's the only thing holding us back from completely encompassing the United Province player. So you can see that rifleman unit is already getting close to routing, and now my cav did take that volley, but the rest of my cav is now going to be able to punch through. And you can see the light did break there, so now we are punching all of our cav through this Minuteman as I'm pushing mine up and around to get past. Now Luke's just punching right through him because he's got Cossacks. But now the United Province player is completely trapped off. Okay, and I'm slowly making my way up, but my guys are beat tired. Alright. So I'm pushing around and through, as well as Luke. So now you can see the dilemma for the player for United Provinces. He's got a light dragoon, 3 light dragoons, 4 light dragoons up here on the hill. He better start making use of them. Luke's starting to lay in the mortars, and really this is one of the best situations I could ever think of for hand mortars, which I'm not really a big fan of them, but if you're going to use them now, I mean, when you trap them in like this, they don't really have anywhere they can move. You know, are they going to go into melee against the Russian lines, which are strong? They're going to pull back and get shot up by the cav. I mean, it's a pretty tough spot for them to be in. You can see he's thrust one of his cav through, but he is completely encircled, and I think this was Yasuka, and he saw it coming before, right when I started making my cav charge to this light in the in this clump of trees. He saw it right then. He's like, I need help, and unfortunately for him, none of his allies sent any help. Now I brought 3 of my cav through this line. I've got one of them to hold this Minuteman back, and just to give us a little delay there, but right now I'm meleeing this rifleman unit, and I've got pretty good strong force of cav there to fight him off. So he is toast on this hill. Now he's getting grenaded there. You can kind of see that going down. Yeah, here. He's out of there. So Luke making very good use of the grenadiers. Okay. So these poor Scots are just taking a beating. Okay, that rifleman unit is about to break. He did rout out my cav. Probably wasn't the best decision to keep my cav there. Okay, as my guys slowly make it up, and you can see they're all exhausted or very tired. Okay, so now that my guys have broke that light infantry, I'm going to go ahead and make my charges into the back of his units. Go ahead and route them out. and you can see he got some grenade throws on these light dragoons here. They're going to rout out with 26 men, and we're about to get a pretty good mass rout going here, and I'm going to charge right into the grenades probably. I stopped just in time as I saw them going in. Yeah, they're getting tore up there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and keep hammering this Swiss right here to break them and the Scots. He's got one depleted Holland Guard coming in. I'm going to push through and downhill charge them. And here comes my army slowly making its way up. So, yeah, wow. Luke's just grenading the hell out of him. Okay. Here goes my cav, making its final charge into him. And, yeah. One of my cav broke. And, yep, so now I'm going to push my cav through because he's got one dragoon coming out and around. And Luke is putting chase to him as well. And yeah, so we now have the hill completely secured, almost completely I should say. Got this small unit of Scots and a light dragoon about to be taken out. There goes that Swiss. Still got a few units, but we did take the hill, but at pretty much a heavy price. But we did, we are able to knock out Yaska's army. The problem is now it's basically 2v1, but not even that, because Luke did sustain quite a bit of damage in this fight. You can see his grenadiers half strength, riflemen half strength, another one half strength, under half strength. His Cossacks are way under half strength. Grenadier lost a few. This line is in pretty decent shape. Grenadier half. That Cossack's almost gone. He's got, this line's almost dead. That hand mortar is half strength. That one's good. That one's good, but they're not going to have tons of ammo. So yeah, not really any line to speak of, and that is going to not bode well for us. So I've got 24, 25, and yeah, that's what cav I've got left. I've got my adrenal coming up to help against these dragoons. So yeah, still fighting it out with these Yaska's leftover men. He's still got a pretty good unit of Swiss and, you know, a Holland Guard too. So okay, let's see if those hand mortars get any damage. Took them down slightly. So this is why I don't really care for the hand mortars. I mean, they're really not doing a great amount of damage for as much as they cost and as little men as you get. I mean, it just doesn't seem worth it. Okay, so I am now using my lights to shoot into the back of the Treleurs and also the hill, and you can see that. So now I'm going to go ahead and fast forward because that part's pretty much wrapped up, and we're just going to have to wait for the remainder of the opponent's armies to come up. Now, I didn't notice this 2 cav units over here. I was more focused on other parts. I saw this cav unit here, So I was aware of that cav unit, but I didn't see these two sneak up to the top of the battlefield. So after I saw them join with the other cav unit, yeah, I was a little distressed. So I'm trying to get reformed. He's got me pretty off guard. It's not going to bode well for me there. So yeah, bad play on my part on that. So let's see. So one general of ours killed. That was some guy I don't know. Oh, MGL Elgia, or however you say it. And Yaska on the opposing side. So yeah. So now I'm going to bring my cav to counter against his. But my guys are still pretty exhausted, as you can see him getting some shots off. Luckily I didn't take much damage on that, just because I'm in the trees. Problem is, somehow, you know, his men are exhausted and tired too. He's got men that are tired. All mine are very tired. So I'm hoping by the time he gets up the top of the hill, his men are all going to be very tired too. But my guys haven't even really had a chance to take a break, because I came from all the way the back corner to rushing up, and now pushing all the way up the hill, then pushing up and forward to the top of this hill. So my guys are pretty much ineffective this whole game. So anyways, we'll fast forward the match here, and we have gone into contact over here. I'm trying to keep him tied down so I can get my line over to shoot at him, but unfortunately my guys are so tired that they don't even get close, so I'll slow it back down. But I do get one shot, kill one of them. Yeah. Either that or it was Luke. But you can see we're extremely depleted on this side, and Yaska does still have that Dragoon unit still holding out, as I am starting to get in combat with the American player. Okay, so you can see my Truleurs are shooting his cav from up here off the hill, so making him think twice about bringing his cav. Okay, now I've worked myself around to where I've got this flank pretty much secured, but yeah, it's you can see the amount of men we have here in the center coming at us is pretty extreme. I'm trying to let my guys rest as much as possible. I got these two down to very tired, because now I've got to truck them up some more hill. And over here we got just a small force, Maryland, Marine, New York, and a Minuteman. So I'm hoping Luke has enough to match him on that side, because I've got two full armies. And you see the British player still has quite a bit of men, but surprisingly he lost a lot in the melee against the AI. So he's trying to make his way up, and over here in the trees you can see the Swedish player, which is probably a warfighter, lumbering up the hill, and he is wisely walking though, which I wish I would have been able to do. But yeah, so I'm going to try and put this line where I can shoot at this long rifle as well. You see my Tiroleurs are in really good shape still. Okay. is kind of where we're at with things. Got my grenadiers in the flank, but really that's pretty small against all those cav, and they're exhausted. So that's going to play a factor too. Okay. So this rifle fight over here is definitely going my way. And I've got my line opening up on his lights. Just took him down pretty decently there. Here comes his lancers. So I'm going to start shooting at them, I hope. Okay, there they go. Shouldn't last too long with all that gunfire coming on them. Okay. So Luke's trying to get his hand mortars on these guys, but he's not American player isn't having it. Okay. So there goes his lancers, but he did provide a pretty decent distraction against me. Okay, so my line is fighting it out with the longs. We got them down to 27. Okay, I'm trying to get this line of Bulkleys over here to help support the flank, because my flank is pretty thin. Okay. Working these Minutemen down. Okay, and they're about to rout. Okay, so that worked pretty well. Now I'm targeting these Marines. Starting to try to whittle them down just a unit at a time. Fortunately, I still got a lot of warfighter to fight. So, wisely, he's bringing up his superior over here on this flank. Okay, now we'll go ahead and fast forward a little bit. And Luke's pulling back a little bit. And British player is finally making his way up. I'm going to go ahead and now, after I've shot my volleys, I'm going to go ahead and roll back. And for some odd reason I got my roll de pont facing the wrong way. I don't know how that happened, but it did. Okay, Luke's shooting at this flank while I'm shooting at the American on this flank with our lights. And I think I am shooting at the, trying to make it to the longs with my line. Try and melee them and get them out of there. But he's getting shot up pretty bad on the way. I do take down a few. Okay, so okay. So now here on this flank, again, our opponents are not trying to sweep around the flank, which in some ways is good and in some ways is bad, because the more they try to enclose, the more thin they become, if you will. So it almost helps us or hurts us that they're not, because if they spread themselves out too much, it takes a long time to wheel back around to support a flank. And you can see Warfighter is pushing his line over to help the center, because I am wearing them down here slowly but surely. And over here on this flank, he's got way more than enough men to outpower me, because I'm fighting off a good portion of his army with probably a good at least half of my army, while the other half is over here trying to hold the center with Luke, because Luke's pretty thin at this point. Okay. So my grenadiers are trying to do a grenade throw, and I do get a pretty decent throw on them. Let's see how many more I can get. That superior line. So we've got to do it, and I want to now too. Okay, here it goes. Oh yeah. Okay. And we're going to throw another grenade. Yep. Here they go. Let's see. That's pretty bad destruction there. Took them down to 55. That's really good. Okay. So here on this flank, I did end up losing that grenadier with 21 men. I got my Bulkley now coming in to secure up this flank. But for some reason he's going all kinds of crazy. Alright. I'm still grenading this guy. Poor son of a gun. Here comes his cav. That's not going to be good for me. Grenadiers versus Dragoons. Not fair. Not fair at all. Okay. You can see what happened to my other one versus Dragoons. Okay. So, slowly but surely, I mean, we're making them pay pretty hard for this this spot here, and he does have one pretty good strong unit here, but I'm pretty healthy with my lines, with the exception of one line here on this flank, and I've got one in support. The problem I face is that I've got one Bulkley kind of holding back these 3 riflemen and 2 Dragoons, which I don't really stand a chance. The only thing that's helped me is the trees are blocking a lot of the shots. This is here I am still grenading these guys, and I'm going to try to throw this line in here to block shots from my grenadiers so I can keep them throwing grenades or shooting, doing something. But okay, what's that? You see this, he didn't like me throwing grenades on him too much, so here goes another grenade throw, and I don't think that one's going to be as effective. He's trying to really take out my Bulkleys. Okay, so here on this flank, my line's about to break. He's I did break that superior line probably finally. Yeah, there it's going now. Okay, so he's got 63, 84, and 64. With I got 120, 92, 119, and I've got 26 grenadiers. So I'm winning that fight on that side. This side we're just kind of holding them back, just waiting. But back here he's still got a lot of superior line, and they're fresh now because they've been waiting. While all of me and Luke are pretty active, except Luke's guys are fresh because they haven't had to do a lot of trekking through the battle. But now these guys on this flank are getting pretty fresh too, so that's good. Okay. So I've got my lights rolling back to shoot the flank. Here comes the British player slowly. Yeah, so you can see my Bulkleys are doing pretty well in the tree. Even though I'm not being able to shoot at them, I am holding that spot. And okay, so Now the American player is starting to make an advance on Luke's position. So I'm hoping my guys can shoot some volleys on these Minutemen as they come up the hill, because he should be shielded by this hill right here from any shots. So I shouldn't have to worry about Luke's men right there. You can see, yeah, you can see what I mean. All those shots are hitting the hills. Now you did get a sneak a couple through, but I'm trying to wait for them to come up and crest that hill, so I can you know, take some shots at them too. But this is good territory to lob grenades on them, because you can loop them over the hill. Okay, you can see Warfighter's now going to throw in the cav, and we've got him whittled down to 2 units now. So we've gotten this part of the battlefield opened up for us, and I've just got to try to win this fight with my Bulkley, which is now taking some losses because he has rolled his rifleman into point blank on me, and he's got this Dragoon here that I'm in melee with my Bulkley and my Grenadier. So here comes his men again to shoot me up while I'm in melee, but I'm trying to shoot him as well. So this superior line just won't break. There it goes finally. American player is holding still over there. Now I did break that Dragoon. Now he's going to go ahead and charge in with the other. And over here my Bulkley is still in combat with these guys. Yeah. So there goes some nice shots in that superior line. Knock them down. Okay. Now I gotta get formed back up. Let the general take out him. Okay, I did get another grenade throw. Now that my guys are out of melee, I gotta get them formed back up. Okay, my lines aren't faring too well against those superior line. Okay, so he's lobbing those grenades on them. Fortunately, they're going right behind them because of the arc of the hill. You can see they're lobbing over too far. Okay, so I'm now using my tier lures to shoot the flank of this superior line. I've got to break them. Now my Bulkley over here is about to break. Unfortunately, it's about to happen. So now his riflemen are going to be able to shoot me up on the flank. So it's about to be over, and we don't even know it yet. And at that moment, the British player is bringing his large melee blob of mob, the blob of mob, coming in to do melee with their condition, and they're actually winded, so he must have been walking the whole time. But here comes the big blob to go into melee with me and my awesome troops. So I'm gonna put a hurting on all those British players, men right there. I'm not going down without a fight. And you see he had a lot of men in the 90s, 100s. So okay, so now I'm pulling my lights back, and I'm going to square up and shoot all these Brits in the backside. Now Okay. Now, over here, Luke is down to his last few men. We're shooting it out with the light dragoons up here. Meanwhile, you can see I'm in square. I still got 104 men, and I'm going to start dropping some Brits. You can see they are decreasing. They were in the hundreds and the 60s and 90s, and so they are really starting to deplete here. But unfortunately, I am completely outflanked by the Swedish player, so he's just got too many men, and he's still got all these men in reserve, so not great. Okay, and let's see. Alright, so here comes the American player now, doing what we did to Yaska in the beginning, sweeping around the back. We are completely cornered in, so now we know how Yaska felt in that last match. Okay, and I am making my last stand as best I can. Now I am being grenaded along with them by Luke, but he actually did more damage to them, so that's good. You can see these, just how many there are, but they're slowly getting mowed down, and I'm still at 72 men. So they're starting to break. I got 2 Bulkleys in there at this point now. So here comes the American Guards. So, and the 1st Delaware, and they're going to start putting volleys into my lights. I'm going to send my general up to die with honor or something. That's possible. Okay. Now, you can see the British is just melting. His guys are just slowly evaporating. And my Bulkley that first was in that fight was at 59. Now he's at 58. So he's still got some fight left in him. Unfortunately, there's not much fight left in the match because there's just too much left. Too many guards in superior line. It's going to be too hard to break them. So yeah, I mean, we already knew this match was over with, but yeah, it's going badly now. Alright, so that guy broke with 3 men left. 54, 32, 57, 46, 50, 50, 46, and 36. So you can see how much men the British player has lost. He's definitely taken a beating. Whoa, you can see some of the mess that's ensuing here. The mighty Bulkleys versus the Brits. And that is a massive fight right there. Okay. And that's it. Good game. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun in that match. It's always a challenge when a couple players drop. So, okay. So again, as always, Luke is going to show us my name, but he was the Russian player, and I am the French. And so I had 1,115 kills. Luke had 1,229. Our allies They didn't fare so well. The Prussian AI actually killed 930 of the British player. The British player brought an extremely large army in 1920 for a British, and he only got 1,271 kills. Most of that was the Prussian, but we were all too happy to kill out most of his men. So, Warfighter, wow, only lost 661 men, killed 1354. And Deluxe, look at Deluxe, he 815 and he killed 1459. So really good game by them. A lot of fun, and hope you like, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks.